welcome to the Chesapeake Today Show. It's your Executive Director, David Loop.
And Candace Montgomery, Director of Life Enrichment.
Candace, we are in 2026. I think we've done one show together perhaps already this year.
Yes, I think. These weeks are starting to
beginning.
blend together. I think so.
Because week before last,
Yeah.
I was away.
Right.
And,
You've been on travel.
That was just life would get warmed up a little bit. But, the holidays were just so memorable.
Yeah.
And just a lot of good things happened. I think we're still sort of feeling that good stuff, even though we're all like, okay, we're happy the decorations are down and safe.
Right.
But it's still very, very, just a very good feeling is how I reflect on it.
Yeah, we've kind of gotten past the community looks a little awkward and like it's missing things
Yeah,
without the
it's
decor.
a little sparse.
It just
Like,
feels,
wait, we had a lot
what
of
was
stuff around.
here before, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, I think it keeps that energy going into the new year for sure.
So we've got that, and we've now trucked along here in January, and we've got goals, and we've got planning, and trying to just a little loose ends. We have to close up last year, financial, et cetera, but just really a lot of energy. And then this past week, one big bundle of energy was our leadership development classes and graduates.
Right, 101, 201, yeah, a big group.
So for you all residents perhaps have heard us talk of, and just to be bringing you up to date, we've done this for a couple of years now. And what we attempt to do is provide a meaningful leadership development curriculum. It's 6 different one-hour sessions, if you will, that happen over 6 months. And that comprises the 101 series. Candace, myself, Barbara, Donna, a handful of us have taught it. And it just is trying to give our emerging leaders an opportunity of just saying, here's where I want to go. This is something that helped me. And then we've added on to it a 201 series, which is trying, just like you would suggest in a college course, trying to step it to some other levels. And then in addition, we've had some of our team members go to a mid-management training, which is a different curriculum based out of our leadership, our Leading Age Association. Yourself and several have gone on to an academy, which is either a state academy or now you're into a national academy, which is really the highest thing that we can provide someone to do. I guess short of paying for a master's degree or something else. And it's all very meaningful. I know Barbara is now a coach.
A coach, I know. I think that's too cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm happy for her with that.
So, again, we're just spending a reflective moment here about all these folks. And what we need to do is we need to share a list of the graduates and who's done what. Because I think residents, and again, Town Hall last week probably missed an opportunity of putting that list out. But just so you all know, who are the team members that are wanting to grow? Because I know just words of encouragement you can provide to them, some guidance, help them find their best self and motivation to where they want to go. Just important. So neat stuff. But I think about your journey, and you're almost like a, hate to use the term poster child, but you're just a great example of how your career has transformed and journeyed along, and yet you're still exploring the chapters. So it's cool. Yeah. So anyways, graduation, good event. Thanks to you, thanks to Paula, had a nice cake, had a little reception, a little non-alcoholic bubbly. So if you walked by the Chesapeake room, it was all cool. But just neat to see those graduates.
Yeah, it's nice for you to say that too, because a lot of residents came by and thinking it was a marketing event, honestly, just because they see those round tables, and if something isn't on the calendar for them, that's what they assume that it is. So it did spark a lot of good conversation of saying, oh no, this is actually, so I think putting something out of kind of explaining that, they would really appreciate that.
Yeah, so excellent. So that was just definitely one thing that happened last week. Anything else to reflect on?
We had National Popcorn Day, which, oh my word, when I tell you, I started the popcorn machine at like 12:30, hoping I could get, a little head start on it. That line did not stop till 3:15. I mean, just steady. So I've been researching and looking up bigger popcorn machines, because in the future we probably need to purchase one. So more of an industrial
And
level.
the magic of those machines is that orange buttery oil
Oh my gosh.
that you have to squeeze it out.
Yeah.
And that, it's got that salt built into it. It changes almost just the whole complexion of that popcorn. And it just tastes so different. I mean, I've got some pretty boring microwave popcorn
Oh
at
yeah,
home.
it cannot compete to what you
Yeah.
have. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just no comparing.
Well, and I think the other thing, even when you go to movie theaters today, yeah, I don't know where they get it from. It's like they get it packaged in, 4-foot bags.
I know,
that
and then
comes
you
from
stand there
somewhere.
and you
And they
move
try to
your thing so that you can
they-
do the,
and they're
the
trying
butter.
and they're trying to warm it up. I think using that because
Yeah.
who knows how. But
Honestly, that's true. How long it's kind of been sitting there. Yeah.
and in our case, that little machine just popped it fresh.
I know. And Matthew was telling me that apparently, and wasn't even aware of this, that AMC Theaters for National Popcorn Day was saying you could bring any bucket or any container of any size, and they would put a plastic liner and you could fill it up with popcorn and take it home for $5, which is like
That was
a
yesterday.
steal.
Oh yeah, I would have taken it in my
Because
Lowe's
how
bucket.
much it costs
Yeah,
to eat
a Lowe's
popcorn
bucket.
and
Could
get
I have
a
taken
drink.
a 5-gallon one? That would have been fun.
I know. I was like, man, because that movie theater popcorn, that's even good a little stale. Like that's
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
that would keep.
Particularly with that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's like,
so I-
man, $5.
So National Popcorn Day. It was also National Hug Day.
Oh,
And we
right,
had a
yeah.
number of things that we were all just celebrating. So, but there's a national something on every day.
Oh, yeah. I don't know who comes up with these, Hallmark or who. Just you
Yeah.
could find all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also had an experience this past week where at Chesapeake and Courtney Smallman, with our director of marketing when she was with us, she had arranged with, I guess it's Wavy TV and
Sure,
the Hampton Road Show.
Mm-hmm.
And I call it, there was going to be a senior lineup of programs where it's the best of senior type of living and senior services within the Hampton Roads area.
Mm-hmm.
And we had it's a sponsorship, and I was part then filling in for her a quick videotaping about the Chesapeake. So we had prepared some questions, like where do our residents move from, come from?
Yeah.
What are some of the things they benefit or look forward to living here?
Sure.
What are some of the activities or amenities? And I had, of course, it slipped in out of my mouth real quick. Well, sometimes our residents call a cruise ship on land and talk about the robust programs and all the
Right.
things. I didn't highlight the Patrice, the woman interviewing me, that we too do a Today Show.
Oh, man,
I
was
missed the
curious.
opportunity. I should have said,
Man.
oh, we've got one, and you should come on our Today Show. So
Yeah, give us some
we may
pointers.
have to go back, and I think we may have another session, so I
Oh,
should play
okay,
that
cool.
card.
Perfect.
But as we were talking before filming today here, the studio was a little bit more higher technology. We do okay with what we do here, but they had a kitchen set and a living room set and just a chair. So they had like a 4
Yeah.
different elements to their stage or to their
Wow.
production area. But it was fun.
I bet.
I don't know the exact dates, but if you watch over the next 2 weeks the Hampton Roads Show, you'll see, a senior service division or whatever or focus, and they're like there would be like 4 different sponsorships. Beltone Hearing Aids was one. Visiting Angels Home Care Group, Commonwealth, which is more on the higher levels of care side, but a for-profit group throughout the Commonwealth, and then we were the other
That's nice.
sponsor, if you will. So we got the infomercial, and that's why we got the interview. So, anyways, hopefully my comments are all apropos, and I was excited, and it was fun. So
I bet.
I had to reflect on this because usually I'm telling the other person, and I'm saying to her, "Now, please, I'm just going to have this conversation with you. Is that
Right,
okay? I'm really
exactly.
not going to look at the camera." But of course, the thing that's sort of uncanny when they first sit you down, they're trying to do a filler. So they say, "Okay, David, we want to count down your microphone. Then we just want you to be quiet, smile, and wave at the camera for 10 seconds." Because then they use that as a cut-in to say,
Yeah.
in the next section, David Loop from the executive director of Chesapeake is going to be
And
visiting
you're just
with us.
standing there.
Yeah,
You
so I'm
could've
just
done your
doing that.
little-
Yeah, so it's like, okay, how do I do this? How silly do I look? But
Yeah, I'm
anyways,
sure that feels incredibly awkward.
yeah, it's a long 10 seconds.
Right.
But
like-
so anyways, that was that experience.
That's
so,
fun.
but seeing all the different sets, et cetera, it just excites me. Where might we take the camera this year?
Yeah,
What else
I
can we
know.
be doing? The chili cook-off. We'll be talking about that. What can we do to film some of that?
Yeah.
that could be a really fun facial expression. And what do you
As
think after
people-
that?
Right.
Particularly get somebody on some hot chili. Ooh, that'd be a
I'm
funny.
curious if right now, I don't think we have any hot chili entries, but I mean,
Yeah.
to each his own of what that, what
Temperature
the flavor
is,
gonna
yeah.
be, yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be fascinating for sure.
Well, I jumped ahead into the week.
No,
but,
that was a
but,
great plug. That was great.
Again, just sort of intriguing to see a studio like that. They're over in Portsmouth, and the
Okay.
building itself is pretty basic on the outside.
Wow.
Of course, a double lock system, et cetera, but you get inside and they
Yeah.
got some equipment.
Okay.
So both
Fascinating.
Channel 10 plus Fox.
Might have to use that card to see if we can get a tour with residents or something. That might be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
yeah, I think I would say absolutely.
Yeah.
And we could probably use the contact that Kathleen has. Just email
Yeah.
that person.
Okay. That would be really cool. If
Yeah.
we could have it the day that you have your next segment, that would be even.
Yeah, because Kathleen Moore from our marketing office, she wanted to drive me over. I said sure, and we'll go together. And she
Yeah.
was so she's in the back taking pictures. So if you want to insert anything into this, she's got some
Oh, okay.
pictures of me up on set.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, we
you
could do that. That'd be
and
awesome.
that'd
That's
be-
perfect. Good
so
to
anyways.
know.
Yeah. So what do we got?
Last week in January. Every time I say, how's this possible? But I'm not sure how it's possible. So leading into Monday here, which we're not sure what the weather will look like then.
That's
but we
right.
say, we're a wintry mix perhaps. 10 a.m. shopping trip to Dollar Tree from the Hampton entrance. 11 a.m. Amy is continuing her Renew and Refresh fitness membership drive right in front of the cafe. She's been doing this weekly throughout the month of January, just as a new year, new focus. Update your paperwork, make sure that you've completed a senior fitness evaluation. If you're interested in any type of personal training, it's just really an info session of, hey, stop by, be entered to win a water bottle, things like that, if they fill out their paperwork. So she's continuing that. 11 a.m. in front of the cafe. Donna Nicholson will have her craft class in the Creative Arts Studio at 2 p.m., which I know they've been making a lot of fun things leading up to Valentine's Day. 3 p.m. learning scripture through song will be in the Chesapeake Room. Ham Chimes is continuing, so
Cool.
they're at 7 p.m. And actually, like Isaiah's been working with the contact at Lakewood. Lakewood's going to be coming here in May, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, to do a Hand Chimes performance with our folks. So really excited for that. That maybe that will help generate some interest as well with new residents. Then on Tuesday, the 27th, we have Bible study at 10:45 in the Explorer Room. Alice Boring will have her Reading and Reminiscing Club at 1:30 in the Chesapeake Room. We've got our regular shopping trip at 1:30 from the Hampton entrance. 6:45, we've got a Ferguson Center Presents Broadway in Love. Is that one of the ones you're going to?
Yeah.
Okay, so leaving from the Hampton entrance. Then the rabbi will be here at 7. He'll be giving one of his lectures on one of the Jewish life in film on The Chosen. That'll be in the Chesapeake Room. Then on Wednesday, we have German class at 3 p.m. in the Explorer Room and Billy Mitchell at 7 in the Chesapeake Room for our entertainment. On Thursday, 9 a.m., we have Rosary and Catholic Prayer Service in the Harbor Room, and 7 p.m. movie The Green Book from 2018. And on Friday, we've got a couple of food options here. So at 11 a.m., there's a lunch trip to Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen, local here, leaving from the Hampton entrance. 11 to 2, we'll have our chili cook-off, which you so kindly put a little plug in for. So 11 a.m. to 2, we'll be in the Chesapeake Room. We'll have 4 to 5 samplings of chili, both residents and team members. Then we'll also provide you with a full bowl of chili with some toppings. So you can sample, you can vote, and then get a nice big bowl of chili. And this is for residents and team members. So it's one of those events where I really like to see that everybody comes together and has some good conversation. And then there is a decorating painting class at 1:30 in the Creative Arts Studio. And I wanted to kind of go ahead and put a plug for Candygrams. It's that time of year. So we'll start February 3rd through the 10th. You'll see in the connection and town hall report the various times. We've kind of got some in the morning, some in the afternoon. Still going to be $1. So all proceeds go to the Team Member Crisis Fund. I've been telling residents, start making your list, because folks like to, try to remember everybody's names and who does what and where for them, because it's for both residents and team members. So if you've got that special housekeeper or a special server, make sure you get their name and start making your list. So looking forward to that. Then they'll be delivered on the 13th, which is that Friday right before Valentine's Day. So this is always a sweet thing.
It is.
So
Very nice.
many kind messages that, as we're packaging up the candy, you can't help but see some of the messages. And it's so sweet and thoughtful. And I love that it goes both ways. Team members sending things to residents and residents sending things to team members. It's very heartwarming.
That is great.
I'm looking forward to that.
Good. Well, I know there another event next week, not resident related, but just for your awareness. The Oyster Point Rotary Club will have their annual Charter Night event, and that's on Friday the 30th. So I think the club's celebrating maybe their 41st year of service here. Over this 41 years, probably almost 1.5 to $2 million worth of service, different ways you can measure that, but giving back to the community. And right now, a real strong partnership with, it's the Volunteer Youth Corps, I believe it is, where it's really helping to grow young people and just wherever they are, wherever their walk of life they're coming from here in the area. And I think it's been a really interesting partnership.
Awesome.
It's one of those nonprofits that I think is doing good work, but they're not really heavily funded. And I think what they are doing, it always makes you feel good when, if we're giving them a $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 check, that we know it's going to have some impact. So
makes a big difference.
there are, a number of folks within Rotary Club that many of our residents know. Some of our own residents, such as Jay Hatton, who's been a past member of the club. So, anyways, that'll be Friday evening. So just so you know, yes, you'll see some people coming and going. Sorry, it's not a resident event.
That's why I say it's a good thing you mentioned it, because they'll be peeking in the door.
So that will happen, and again, it's the club. It's almost like a $6,000 night is what they pay the Chesapeake for that event. So we basically cover all costs and have a little cushion built in, and that's just sort of it's probably a little bit cheaper than some other banquet community or hall they could go to, and clearly what Chef does is very quality. So that's one thing. So that's next Friday.
Right, rounding out the month.
Yeah. And we'll be finishing up January, turning the clocks, but that's just amazing. I know a couple things that we touched on last week at Town Hall that may be appropriate. I'll just speak to one, and I think we're both, what I'm going to give a little time to is, I've got the challenge of making sure everyone's comfortable with where we're heading, how this pavilion's looking. You've got hair salon, some things you've been working through, and I think for us just to add to the commentary, I was saying even to the major donor for the pavilion, it's now going to start to transform from what I call the erector set. This ugly brown metal will now become a very interesting residential feel, as the brick is now going up on the columns, and then the columns itself are a Georgian theme. So they have some very interesting decoration to them as they go up. It's contemporary, it's still sort of modest, but it's just going to be attractive. And then the paint colors that our April has selected. You and I, we were looking and selected, I think, the countertop and skirting, some things for the kitchen counter area. You've got all the furniture here that you've ordered. It's been ready to go out. We've got the fireplace insert, et cetera. In fact, the middle of this week, expect to see cement trucks back, because that large slab of cement will be poured for the fireplace pit. And then there will be one final cement pour, probably a couple weeks out, and that will be an apron that goes around the main pavilion, and then all of the connecting sidewalks will come back together. There's some, just some final grading, et cetera, but that will all come together. End of February, first week of March is still looking close. So the first week of March about. I know you and I have talked and even shared with the primary donor that we're tweaking the date of the dedication. We'd already gave them a couple weeks leeway and we're still okay there, but we just want to make sure a key individual part of the project is able to attend. So we'll get that date out.
27th.
It's going to be March 27th.
So it'll be the week behind what we had originally said, which is perfectly fine.
That sounds great. So March 27th dedication. And I guess what I want to offer is, as the building itself, the cupola, the paint colors, the residential feel of the building, we're also going to go ahead and, as we finish out landscaping, make sure Buildings and Grounds Committee is comfortable with the shrubs and bushes to go around. We're going to sod everything. We're not going to seed it. We're just going to take it to the full step and sod it in. And that's as long as we are comfortable with the date that the sod farms open up.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And we're probably going to go ahead and ask our landscaper to not only get enough product to sod everything around any disturbed area in the Gloucester Commons, we've got this carryover project from last year where we had tried to shrink our mulch beds, because we
Right.
had mulch beds that were an
Everywhere.
acre.
Right.
And we didn't. So we're trying to shrink them and put sod back in, and it never got accomplished by last year's vendor.
Okay.
We're getting it this spring. So let's hope. And we're going to have our Pride Day, I call it the cleanup day.
Yeah.
The
We'll have
day
some
when
projects.
and we could do something. I was even thinking maybe we do a little planting bed or something around the new pavilion and
Okay.
have a flower area. We'll see what residents want to do.
Okay.
So anyways, and I'm bringing this up just because I've said all along, it is a big building. I've said all along, we had to move it closer to the patio homes because we couldn't build on the easement.
Yeah.
You will be able to see through it. It is going to be a nice, and it will be landscape and the greenery, and I just thank the residents for dealing with months of disturbance and construction and noise. And yeah, it's not pretty to look at a director set, 'cause that's what
Right.
it's been.
Yeah.
But when it's all said and done, I think it will have its meaning.
Yes, we got to
So,
get it to that point.
yeah.
It's a process.
And I know as we're trying to help residents understand the world of pricing,
I know, yeah, it's been a big thing. It's been a big adjustment, of course. You know, as I shared with you and as I've shared with residents that I've had individual conversations with, that salon prices did go up, you know, I would say significantly compared to the past. You know, 2025 was really our year of learning as our salon team members went from being team members to contractors, and that budget not being there anymore, you know. So when we're planning for a 2026 budget and there's, you know, not a line item for supplies and their salaries and things of that nature. And so, you know, after doing research of the industry and prices out on the outside of the Chesapeake, our prices are very competitive, if not still low. And also feedback from the contractors of, hey, you know, let's see what some prices cost for product. Like, let's see these things. And that's kind of how we came to those prices. You know, I've shared with folks that it goes through a lot of different hands, and there's some intentionality that goes with it, because I think that's been the frustrating point of residents thinking we've just slapped a number down and that's it. And it's like, no, there's research that goes back in behind it. There's conversations that are had, you know, and I know it feels like a lot at first because it's something that we've just kind of slowly inched up a little bit over the years, and now we're really in a different place. So we almost can't compare ourselves to the past because we have contractors now, and we have to make ourselves marketable for the next generation of stylists that come in, because folks are going to retire, they're going to move on to other opportunities, and we want to make sure that it's worth the stylist's time to come here, because it is different here. You know, there's folks may or may not tip. There's, you know, you have different nuances that you work through with higher levels of care and scheduling, and so it's not a cut and dry. You've got people walking in and out like in a typical outside salon. So it's really, you just almost can't even compare it in that way. So we really want to make sure that it's worthwhile for the contractors to come here. And you know, Brenda and I were talking about this the other day. We're really blessed that those individuals, those contractors, decided to stay with us after that transition. I mean, honestly. So we don't want to lose them, and that's been the feedback that all the residents have given, is like, we love them and we want them to stay. And so I think that's helped with the narrative, just some perspective sharing. So that's what we also did at Town Hall, and so, you know, we'll get there, but I welcome those conversations. So anytime anybody has any feedback, I have no problem having that conversation.
Yeah. Well, I think those conversations are helpful. You know, I just, as you were talking, just think of the reality that it could happen in either our salons, but occasionally, you know, things happen with our residents. They aren't feeling well. All of a sudden, a doctor's appointment's been scheduled, and the stylist is ready to do their hair, and they aren't here.
Yeah.
So they've just come in and basically have zero income for that period. So then the next time that they are seeing somebody, basically they're working for half price.
Right.
And we can't charge you for not being there. Things do happen. Health changes. But you got to keep people whole for us to attain, retain, and attract stylists into the future.
Yes, most
So-
definitely.
So anyways, I hope you hear that conversation, and I know you and your team did a thoughtful job of it, and I appreciate you taking a lot of the questions.
Oh,
but
yes, yeah.
we're just trying to explain it. Price changes are never easy,
I know.
and it's just continues to amaze all of us how things have changed so much. And
Yeah, the outside world, I mean, it's just, it's no end in sight, it seems like. It's just so expensive for anything these days.
and the service industry is absolutely true. I think we all on the outside feel the grocery bill, and I'm like, we just come back and in our refrigerator, we were Mother's Hubbard, had no food, and I'm saying, so what did it take to get stocked back up? I'm like,
Right.
oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
a couple hundred.
And we just get some protein and some vegetables and not a
Right.
lot of prepared.
Yeah.
But wow. And even on the construction side,
Oh my gosh.
it boggles my mind how things have changed so much. And those are things that I know as a resident you're somewhat insulated to. You do absorbing this month, you're absorbing a big rate increase, but
Yeah.
services, grocery bills, construction, it's different.
Yeah, we aren't immune to it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's been a part of the conversations of,
Yeah.
especially long-standing folks who have been here a long time and they've seen a lot. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, well, I mean, we have to adapt to the times because we can't be in the red as an organization, right? Like, we have to be fiscally responsible. So it's just perspective sharing.
Yeah.
But also another point I wanted to make is we're going to do some things creatively on our end to run some specials and do some fun things throughout. And, like maybe some raffles of some different things. So we're trying to ease that burden a little bit in ways that we can creatively. So that's something that Brenda and I are working on.
Yeah. And I think they may be out, and I've got to walk and just double check. One of the things we had ordered was new benches. So again, back to inflation.
Oh, yeah.
I would say to the residents, because it was on your priority list, we wanted to buy
Yeah.
benches for Hampton Center, places where you can rest between the long walk. We also did put 4 of them over in assisted living to complete that neighborhood.
Oh, good. Miss Rowe will be so happy.
Each one of them, if my memory serves me correct, was almost $450 a bench.
Yeah, I believe it.
A couple years ago, maybe it had been $250 for an upholstered small piece of furniture. Not today.
No.
And then there's even times now when we replaced the cafe chairs, and I had to use this in my budget presentation. There's sometimes we'll find custom upholstered chairs like that can be up to $400 a piece.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a resident flabbergasted by that. I'm like, it's true.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing. And then for us to go back and reupholster a chair, $500
It's
bucks.
like, right.
You can't reupholster them. So it's just,
Exactly.
being good stewards of your dollars, that we're committed to it. But
Yeah.
it is different buying days.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, not that we want to talk economy out of the front door, but
I know.
here in January, dollars are meaningful.
Yeah,
and
it's a
your increases have gone in, and we just want to be sensitive to all of that.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So, other than just my excitement to what's going to happen this year between, I think just some creativity, and it's this show evolves.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we've talked about some things there, and maybe even we can do some filming during Chile.
Okay.
And then there's just so much more. It'll be fun to get some outdoor pictures and things that happen with the pavilion.
Oh, yeah.
And there could be some interesting,
Fun things that we have coming up and
Yeah.
planned. Yeah.
and maybe even summer months we'll do one thing out there in our pickleball outfits.
Oh yeah,
That could be
listen, I've been
comical.
working with Mr. Fowler for t-shirts. I've been working on a t-shirt
Yeah.
design for him. So
Yeah, yeah.
there's things
And-
in the works.
And have they named themselves the Picolettes
They
or anything
haven't
like
come
that?
up with a name
we'll have
like
to-
that. I've kind of been surprised that they haven't had.
Yeah.
I think maybe that'll come when there's teams or something, and they'll come up with some
Yeah,
competitive
with staff,
names.
and if we have a little, some staff tournament plus some combo
Yeah.
tournaments,
Definitely.
and then I could even vision in the fall, we could have do a little around the fireplace pit, do a little
You're
show
trying to
there.
bring back trauma, aren't you? I saw the
No,
smirk in your
no, I didn't. I wasn't even
As
going
Isaiah's
there.
laughing behind the
I
camera,
wasn't
too.
going there. I'm just saying it's safe and it's going to be good and it's going to be,
We are not going to pair it with wine. Let
Yeah.
me just say that.
yeah. So no, interesting and fun things there. And then of course, really excited is you may want to just devote one show just to some of the thinking, planning, and your folks that are on your committee with the 250th.
Yes, we've got that because we've got a slew of residents who are going to participate in that. So that's going to be a week-long celebration for sure, if not longer. And we also have things planted each month, whether it's trips, it's educational things that we're being intentional about. As you were talking about the pavilion, we're going to do a dinner club offering out there. So just exciting that we have one more space to be able to do some of these
Yeah,
things. So.
yeah, that's great. Real fine. Well, does that cover our topics?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Alrighty.
like, speaking of culinary,
Yeah.
I've got a culinary team member
That's
good
right.
interview.
That's right. Today's
Yeah.
interview, Dave Wam Mold. Am I okay, Isaiah? And God love Dave. I've known him all of my years working here. He's a really special man. He's done different jobs here. He's been very pivotal in the culinary team, with dish room, with stocking and supplies. Even we'll talk about some other things he's done. But Dave's a special man. He's been with us many years. So stay tuned, and you'll see a special interview with one of our own team members.
fun.
So until next time, I'll say farewell and thanks for being with us.
We'll see you.
Hello and welcome back to the Chesapeake Today Show. It's a special time for an interview, and today one of our own team members, in fact a gentleman who's been with us for many years, Dave Womble. Dave, you've worked within our kitchen as a dish room for many years, sir, but I know you've worked in other areas. So welcome to the show today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Dave, residents love learning about us, and they're going to want to celebrate your years of service, and we'll get to that in a moment, but how about a little bit about your background? Dave, where are you originally from? Where were you born?
I'm originally from the Great Falls of Montana, where Lewis and Clark explored and named the river the Great Falls of Montana. Now it's a national park.
Wow, Montana. I don't know of another team member from Montana. You may have a very rare distinction. That is something. So were you there during your younger years? When did you leave Montana?
I was there until I was about 21 years old.
Okay.
And then shortly after I got out of high school, I joined the service. And I joined the Department of the Navy.
Okay.
And they decided that communications was going to be my specialty.
Okay. So thank you for your service. You were part of the Navy. So where did you then travel to? Where was your naval experience?
I was a reservist, and during that time we went every 2 weeks, and 2 weeks for each summer.
Mm-hmm.
And those 2 weeks were one time in Pendleton, Camp Pendleton,
Mhm.
California, and another time we was in Coronado.
Yeah, they're in San Diego area.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was great there, and nice weather, and we got to do training in the ocean.
Mhm.
That was pretty exciting, and the ocean isn't quite as cold as some rivers up there.
I bet. In Montana, I could predict some pretty cold winters and rivers. Okay, so your naval experience and your reservist work. Keep going. I have to bridge what from Montana and even this experiences in Navy in California. When did you come east? Fill in some more blanks for me. What brought you to Hampton Roads?
After I got out of the service, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to stay in the service. About that time, I met some females in my neighborhood that wanted to invite me to Bible studies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Lord sent them to me because I went to their house and I met their friends and the other people that were there teaching people the different parts of the King James Version
Mm-hmm.
of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after that, I went to basic training
Mm-hmm.
at MCRD, right next to the Navy training base.
Okay.
And then after I finished my service, I headed east to go to a place called Dubuque, Iowa.
Yeah.
There's a place there called the Rock of Ages,
Mm-hmm.
where believers gather together every 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
or every 2 weeks in June or July,
Mm-hmm.
and leave their radios and all their cares at home,
Yeah.
and just take all this time to be with the Lord and fellowship and study the Bible with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I learned a lot there. Then I came up north after a couple of years in the south in Florida, and my sister was up here in Hampton.
Okay.
And she was taking care of 4 kids alone. And I thought I would come up here and help her. It was about the same time as the bell ringers come out for the Salvation Army.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first job here in Hampton. And Newport News, they didn't send me too many places in Newport News except malls.
Yeah.
And I worked there for about 10 weeks, 12 weeks collecting money for the needy.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, because some people would just act like they didn't see me and try to walk by.
Yeah.
And some people would come up and say, "Thanks for collecting money.
Yeah.
My family needs help."
Yeah. So Salvation Army brought to this area. Your sister was here. So quite a trek across the country. So then, from that point, did you stay in Hampton Roads? I know, married. You started your work and career. Help me, after Salvation Army, what was your first job in this area?
After the Salvation Army, I went to Pizza Hut.
Okay.
Pizza Hut. There, I made pizzas there, and I trained drivers
Uh-huh.
to the different areas of Hampton, like Hampton University,
Yeah.
and then we went to a lot of the different streets close to the beach, Pembroke Avenue,
Yeah.
and some of them were even close to Mercury.
Okay. So Pizza Hut, and I think I've heard you say you worked at the Chamberlain. Was that soon after that, or when did you work there?
Yeah, that was about a year or so. I worked up there,
Okay.
and that was only maybe a 15-minute drive because I had to go stop at a checkpoint and
Yeah.
show them my driver's license, tell them where I'm going,
Yeah.
because it was an army base then.
Yeah. Okay.
And I worked at a place where they had a champagne brunch
Mm-hmm.
with champagne and at least 40 items on the
On the brunch menu, and it had quite a history. I know the retirement community operating today has tried to perpetuate that, but I don't think it was as grand as when you worked there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it was like only $39.95 or something like that if
Yeah.
you wanted to come in for the brunch. And then you had a good 2 hours to just enjoy yourself if you brought your family with you.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was a busser.
Mm-hmm.
I helped bus tables and reset the tables, and that was fun because I got to talk to a lot of different people visiting the Army
Yeah.
base.
I'm not sure if you ever crossed paths with Jennifer Maroney's husband, Ed Maroney, worked at the Chamberlain for a number of years as food and beverage management. So may or may not have crossed times, but again, similar stories, quality, quite an experience when it was the hotel under the Army base.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the Chamberlain, then what was your next career move, your step?
After the Chamberlain, then I came here. My wife and I moved to a street called Pennsylvania Avenue,
Mm-hmm.
up there in a different section of Hampton, and then I had to take buses here because I didn't have a car, so it took me a good 2 or 3 hours to get here from Pennsylvania Avenue.
Wow.
By the time I caught 3 or 4 buses,
And you did that, and you started working here in what year?
2002.
Yeah, so 24 years ago. Well, that's quite dedication. And what jobs have you had here at the Chesapeake?
I did work in the dish room when I first started here. If you remember Tammy,
Yes, Tammy Slavikowski.
Chef Tammy,
Yeah.
and we worked there. I worked there for probably about 6 months, transporting food and trucks
Yeah.
from one area to another of this facility,
Yeah.
and that was interesting. Those carts seemed like they weighed a couple
Yeah.
of tons.
I know there was even at one point in time when we had to transport food from the main kitchen and drove it around to the new assisted living building. Not sure if that was right around the time of your arrival, but it had been close to that.
Yeah,
And then we opened up the healthcare center, memory care, and those things happen historically. Okay, so 24 years working within culinary. I know when I first met you almost 9 years ago, you had shared with me you were also doing some other work. I think you were doing some driving elsewhere.
actually, I had the opportunity to drive buses here during the Christmas season.
Okay.
I went up to the Newport News Park and I drove through the Christmas lights a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I took a busload of residents up to Richmond for a meeting up there at a hotel.
Uh-huh.
And that was interesting because it was a rainstorm almost all the way there and back.
Wow.
And they said, slow down and take it easy. I said, okay.
So you've been driving for residents. I think you drove for the Holiday Inn. You did some shuttle work there, if I remember our conversations.
Yes, sir.
So that and
We went back and forth to the different airports.
yeah.
There was a one-story hotel in Hampton. Then I went to the train station.
Mm-hmm.
And when I worked at the 5-story hotel up here on J. Clyde, I went back and forth to the airport to pick up airline
Hmm.
flight attendants
Sure.
and captains
Mhm.
and assistants,
Yeah.
and that was interesting.
Yeah, I bet. Because here they're traveling the world and they're coming to you, and whatever conversation is good. Well, you've had what a career, and you've been of service here since 2002. So, what's the next months look like? Do you have a retirement date set? What's your future?
Um, my wife's been talking about moving to a different place where it's not so cold as it gets here.
Yeah.
She wants to go south, like to a place like Florida,
Uh huh.
where my sister's at already,
Hmm.
and that's where she wants to go and retire and enjoy our years together.
Yeah. Well, that's a plan, and many people do that and enjoy it. So, do you have a time frame on it yet? Do you know when you might do that?
Yeah, she said she wants to live here about another year and get the house all fixed up so we can sell it and
Yeah.
somebody else can have a nice home to move into.
Yeah, very nice. Well, it's a plan, and it's delightful to be able to look forward to something like that to retire to. And if you've got a sister down there, family, that's all the better. It makes it even more comfortable. Real fine. So, Dave, any memories over the years of the Chesapeake? Yeah, you've seen a lot of change. You've seen construction. You've seen renovation. Yes, you've seen a lot of leaders. Any reflections or stories you'd like to share?
Uh, there was one time that I remember that I was transporting those carts to different areas like assisted living,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't have those mirrors like they do on the first floor,
Yeah.
and I accidentally ran into somebody.
Oh.
I was in trouble for a while there, and I thought, oh no, I hope I don't have to go to court.
Well, those are big carts and a little concerning. I appreciate that.
And Tam came along and said, okay, don't worry, David, we got it all taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was just an accident, I didn't see her.
Yeah. Well, and I could get that, and those are memories we don't forget. But yeah, glad everything worked out okay.
Me too.
Yeah. You've also seen in the kitchen a lot of differences, chefs and changes. Chef Tammy, and then we had another chef I remember in the middle. She worked over at the Honeydew Restaurant or something over in Virginia Beach. And then we had Chef TV Flynn for a bit. We've had a couple different chefs even before Julian. So you've seen a lot of folks come through the kitchen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And a new dish machine a few years ago, so you've seen a few dish machines over the years.
Oh yeah, gee. Everything is modernized so quickly here during the last 25 years.
Yeah.
It seems like we've caught up to the rest of the country with our modern kitchen appliances.
Yeah. Well, when we bought that last dishwasher and spent around $60,000 to $70,000, and I called it, I said, "We're giving you guys a Mercedes Benz, so so you're a driver, you can take care of it." But no, it was quite a machine,
Yeah.
and that's the one we have today. But that's important. So when you're not at work, what do you enjoy doing? What's your hobbies or interests?
Me and my wife like to dine out at a lot of different places, but since she has to be careful with salt, she likes to go to places that have a good variety on their salad bars.
Yeah.
And sandwiches. She likes different sandwiches at
Yeah.
different places that they have salad bars.
Yeah, yeah. And those are good selections.
Other than
Absolutely.
that, she also loves to go down to the beach and just drive around and reminisce about those days when her and her girlfriends like to go down to the beach and look at the hurricanes. And I said, no, I don't want to go look at the hurricanes. I'm staying home.
Yeah, watch those storms come in over the water. Yeah, there are people like this storm chase. Yeah. Well, those are wonderful reflections and memories. Well, Dave, you've been such a wonderful teammate. It's been a delight working with you, and in the upcoming months working with you. We're of similar ages. I hope to work a little bit longer, but you're going to enjoy some retirement and some warmer weather. But just allowing us to get to know you a little bit more. Coming from Montana all the way to the east, and maybe someday if you end up retiring in Florida, that's just amazing. So real fine.
Yeah. My wife wants to go and visit her family too in Massachusetts.
So up and down the East Coast. Okay.
Yeah, she lived close to the Boston area, and she wants to go and see her family up there sometime. Maybe travel up there by train
Yeah?
or fly up there. Oh, she won't fly unless she has something to feel good first.
Okay. There are people that need a little bit of medicine before they fly. So that's nice, though, for you to be able to have one part of the family up north. I'd plan those summer visits up there in Boston, and then your sister and other times of the year in Florida. So if you plan it right, that's a pretty good combination. Yeah, real fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dave, I just want to say thank you for your years of service. Thank you for just being so dedicated. For our residents to know that we've had dedicated, committed people that I call them unsung heroes. Here we've had chefs, and I've always said it doesn't matter who the chef is. The food's not going to taste good if it's not on a clean plate. And for you to take the pride of doing your very best, using the equipment we have, the china we have, making it the best possible, I cannot even imagine how many dishes and pots and pans. And even as you help stock in the storeroom and that element, and now I know about driving, you've just done so much for so many years. Just truly thank you.
You're welcome. I've had so many wonderful memories of this place. I tell my wife about all those exciting times.
Yeah.
Our celebrations and of different birthdays and anniversaries.
Yeah.
And it's been a wonderful time of my life right here.
Yeah. And the people that we've learned about and connected with, it is special. Real fine. Well, sir, I don't often do this, but I'm going to just a shake of your hand and thank you. Really appreciate all that you do and have done, and just look forward to still working with you for the days, weeks, months ahead. Okay? All righty. Well, for today's show, appreciate y'all joining us. When you see David around the building, let him know how much we appreciate and value him. But again, great having Dave Wambach with us today, and everyone have a great day. Take care.
Thank you.